You think you know what really excites a woman? Not what you see in movies, not what your boys tell you, not what you read in some generic article online. What actually makes a woman feel attracted, obsessed, completely taken over by a man? Because I'm going to tell you right now, sex is way down on the list. Way down. And today I'm going to reveal the 11 things that excite us so much more than anything physical. Stay until the end because number 7 is the biggest secret women keep, and I have never seen any man talk about it with the depth it actually deserves. Tell me in the comments right now, do you think you understand women, or do you still feel completely lost? Because depending on your answer, this video is going to change a lot for you. The first thing is real presence, and I need you to understand what that means on a level that goes way beyond the obvious. I have been with men who were good-looking, intelligent, successful, funny, men who on paper were absolutely perfect, and I still felt completely alone next to them. Not because they were bad people, but because they were never really there. The phone was always in their hand. Their eyes were always somewhere else. When I talked, I felt like my words just disappeared into the air without landing anywhere, like I was talking to a wall that smiled back at me. And this goes so far beyond being polite or respectful. Real presence is when a man looks at you in a way that makes you feel like you are the only person in the world at that moment. It is when he stops everything he is doing, looks you in the eyes with that calm, and you feel the weight of his attention like it is something physical, almost tangible. The female nervous system is extremely sensitive to this. When a woman feels a man's real attention, her body relaxes in a way she can barely explain. Her guard comes down. Openness happens. And all of that before any touch, before any pretty words, before any elaborate gesture. Full presence is the most underrated aphrodisiac that exists, and it costs absolutely nothing. Can you remember the last time you gave someone your full attention without looking at your phone even once? Write it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. The second thing is being truly heard. And look, I know you have heard this before, but you still have not understood the depth of it, because nobody has ever explained it properly. It is not just hearing words. Anyone can hear words. It is remembering. It is noticing the details she does not even know you caught. It is taking something she said 3 weeks ago in a casual conversation and bringing it back in a way that shows it stayed with you. I fell completely and overwhelmingly in love once with a man who, without warning, without asking, without making any fuss about it, showed up with that book I had mentioned in passing in a quick conversation. Without even developing the subject, he remembered, and that moment, that simple gesture, was worth more than any expensive dinner, any trip, any elaborate gift any other man had ever given me. When a man truly listens to a woman, her brain releases oxytocin, which is the hormone of connection, attachment, and deep trust. You literally create a chemical bond with her just by paying real attention. That is not poetry. That is biology. And the most incredible part is that most men completely underestimate this power because it seems too simple to be real. But it is exactly because it seems simple that almost nobody actually does it. Tell me, do you have a habit of remembering the details the person you like shares with you? Or do you forget pretty much right away? Drop it in the comments. No judgment at all. The third thing is going to contradict everything you were probably taught about attraction, and I need you to keep an open mind before we go further. It is sexual tension without touch, the almost game, and it is so much more powerful than what actually happened. The almost creates something in the female mind that the real thing cannot create. Anticipation. And anticipation is the most intense emotional state that exists when it comes to desire. The look that lasts 1 second longer than it should. The hand that gets close but does not touch. That grazes past her arm without making contact. The sentence that starts with that wait and stops before it gets to the point, leaving her to finish it mentally. The smile that says you know something she has not figured out yet. I have been completely obsessed with men who had barely touched me, because the tension between us was so thick, I could feel it physically, and my mind filled in every blank on its own, in a way that was so much more intense than any reality could have been. The female mind is infinitely more powerful than the physical when it comes to desire. What she imagines, she craves with an intensity that runs deep. What she gets easily, without tension, without anticipation, she does not value in the same way. That is not cruelty. That is pure psychology, and understanding this completely changes how you position yourself in any pursuit. Number 4 is going to show you something women never say out loud, but but feel in their spine every single time they encounter it. Do not go anywhere just yet. The fourth thing is a man with purpose and direction in life, and I am going to be completely honest with you in a way that might sting a little, but that you need to hear. It is not the money that attracts. It never was. It is the energy of someone who knows exactly where they are going and wakes up every single day ready to get there, no matter what it takes. I have dated rich men who were completely directionless, who had everything materially and had no idea what to do with any of it beyond spending it, and they barely attracted me at all. And I have fallen deeply in love with men who had very little financially, but who had that flame inside them that just does not go out, who talked about their plans with that fire in their eyes that you cannot fake, who flat out refused to settle for a mediocre life. That energy is magnetically irresistible. A man with purpose radiates something you feel before he even opens his mouth, before he tells you what he does, how much he makes, where he lives. It is like the space around him becomes different, denser, more interesting. Women are biologically wired to feel attracted to men who show the capacity to build, to protect, to create something. And purpose is the clearest and most powerful signal of that potential. It is not about what you have today. It is about who you are becoming and how deeply you believe in it. Do you have a clear purpose in your life right now? Think about it honestly before you answer and drop it in the comments. No filter. The fifth thing is the body language of someone who does not need approval, and this one is one of the most powerful and least practiced on this entire list, because most men do not even realize they are getting it wrong. You can say all the right words, use all the right moves, and still destroy the entire attraction because of how you occupy space. A man who moves with calm, who walks without that anxious rush, who sits without shrinking like he is apologizing for being there, who speaks without scanning the other person's face looking for approval. That man communicates something that goes straight to the female instinct without passing through reason. He communicates safety. And safety is one of the greatest aphrodisiacs that exist for women, because safety means that next to this man I can relax, that he will not fall apart when things get hard, that he has enough internal structure to hold the weight without breaking. Your body speaks before you do, way before, and it never lies. A woman may not consciously know why a man attracts her right away, but her body knows. And her body is reading yours the entire time, in every micro movement, every micro expression, every way you occupy or fail to occupy the space around you. If you are enjoying this content, go ahead and hit the like button right now, because what comes next is where most men go wrong silently, consistently, and completely without realizing it. The sixth thing is going to seem completely counterintuitive, but it is one of the most powerful on this entire list, and I need you to resist the urge to push back before you finish hearing it. It is knowing how to say no to her, calmly, firmly, without drama, without cruelty, but without backing down. The man who agrees with everything, who never has an opinion he actually stands behind, who shapes his entire personality around whatever she seems to want in any given moment. That man loses attraction silently and absolutely inevitably, not because women want suffering, but because deep down, on a level that goes way beyond reason, every woman wants to feel that the man beside her has real internal structure, that he is not a leaf in the wind, that he respects her enough to be honest, even when it is not what she wants to hear in that moment. I have been in relationships with men who never disagreed with anything, who never set any limits, who were always available for anything at any hour, and the feeling was suffocating in a way that took me a long time to understand. The absence of real friction creates an absence of real desire. Boundaries create respect. Respect creates admiration. Admiration creates attraction. That is not philosophy. That is a chain of cause and effect that happens inside every woman, whether she wants it to or not. And now we get to number 7. I promised from the very beginning that this was the biggest secret on the list. This is the moment, because this one runs deep. The 7th thing is strategic vulnerability, and this is the thing women most wish men knew, the thing that moves us on a profound level, and the thing we least manage to put into clear words. It is not weakness. It is not emotionally falling apart in front of someone you barely know. It is something far more precise and far more powerful than that. It is having the rare courage to be truly seen, without armor, without a front, without the character you built to protect yourself from the world. It is that specific moment when a man talks about something that genuinely matters to him with a directness so honest that you feel he is not trying to appear as anything, that he simply is. I remember one specific night when a man told me about the biggest fear of his life. It was not dramatic. It was not elaborate. It was simple, direct, real, said with a calm that showed he knew that fear, that he had looked it in the face, that he was not running from it. And in that moment, something in me opened in a way I cannot fully describe with words, because I realized he trusted me enough to take off the armor. And when a man does that, when he shows that he is strong enough not to need to hide, he creates a level of emotional intimacy that no seduction technique in the world can replicate. Strategic vulnerability does not weaken you in a woman's eyes. It makes you devastatingly human. And real humanity is what attracts most. Have you ever allowed yourself to be vulnerable with someone you were pursuing? Or did you always keep the armor on tight? Drop it in the comments because this is one of the topics that generates the most conversation on this channel. The 8th thing is making her laugh, and I need you to understand the enormous difference between the humor that pushes women away and the humor that creates an insane level of attraction, because that difference changes everything. It is not being a clown. It is not desperately trying to force a laugh out of a situation that has nothing funny about it. It is not recycling jokes you saw on the internet. It is having the emotional intelligence and the presence to play with her reality, to take something she said and give it back in a completely unexpected way, to be surprising in a way that proves you are actually inside the conversation, inside the moment, inside her world. The humor that attracts is not rehearsed. It is spontaneous, contextual. It is living proof that you are present and connected with her on a level that goes beyond the surface. When a woman genuinely laughs with a man, not the polite laugh, not the courtesy laugh, but that laugh that rises from the stomach and that she cannot control, something chemical changes between them immediately. Her guard drops completely. Her heart opens. Intimacy happens naturally without anyone needing to force anything. And the most powerful part of all, once she has associated you with that feeling of lightness, of joy, of surprise, she will go looking for that feeling again. Always. Because human beings are addicted to feeling good. And if you are the source of that feeling, she is going to want you around in a way that is almost compulsive. Number 9 is about something that goes beyond everything you do and say. It is about what your physical body communicates before you even open your mouth. And it is one of the most overlooked things by practically every man I have ever known. The 9th thing is physical presence, scent, voice, and that energy she cannot put into words, but that she never, absolutely never, forgets. Women carry the scent of people they have loved for years, sometimes for entire decades. That is not over-the-top romanticism. That is pure neuroscience. The olfactory system is the only one of the 5 senses that has a direct connection to the limbic system, which is the center of emotions, emotional memory, and attachment in the human brain. That means a specific scent can create an emotional association so strong and so lasting that she will think about you every time she smells that fragrance for the rest of her life, even if years have passed, even if she does not want to think about you. Your voice also carries an enormous weight that most men completely ignore. A calm, measured voice with resonance, one that does not speed up from anxiety or rise from nervousness, communicates control, safety, and presence in a way that goes straight to the female instinct without passing through reason. And the temperature of the energy you radiate into the space around you. If you are restless, anxious, desperately seeking approval, she feels that in her body before she processes it consciously. If you are calm, centered, grounded in yourself, she feels that too. And her body's response to those 2 energies is completely different. The body never lies. Not once. Under any circumstance. Have you ever thought that the way you speak and the scent you wear could be affecting attraction that deeply? Write what you think in the comments. The 10th thing is the art of creating longing. And this is perhaps the most misunderstood, the most misused, and at the same time, one of the most devastatingly powerful on this entire list. Too much presence kills desire in a way that is almost surgical. Total availability creates familiarity, and familiarity creates a comfort zone that destroys tension, and without tension, desire cools gradually and inevitably. When you disappear the right way, not manipulatively, not playing cheap games of going silent for no reason, but because you genuinely have a life of your own, because you have purpose, because you have things that move you beyond her, because you are not waiting for life to happen through someone else, you create a real vacuum. And the female mind will fill that vacuum thinking about you in a way that your constant presence could never provoke. Longing is one of the most intense and most complex emotional states that exist. It combines desire, anticipation, curiosity, and attachment in a way that no constant presence can create. And when she feels that longing for you, she is actually feeling desire for you disguised as absence. Learn to disappear with elegance, with intention, with a real life that makes that absence genuine. That is one of the most underestimated and most transformative skills in any relationship. We are coming up on the last one, and I left this one for last completely on purpose, because deep down, underneath everything I have talked about today, it all comes back to this. The 11th and final thing is emotional safety, and this is the absolute foundation of everything, the ground on which each one of the other 10 things is built. Deep down, underneath all attraction, all tension, all desire, all chemistry, there is a question every woman is asking all the time, even without knowing she is asking it, even without being able to put it into words. Can I be myself next to this man? Can I have my fears, my contradictions, my inner mess, my bad days, my vulnerability, and still be received without judgment, without comparison, without him using it against me later? When a man creates that environment, when his presence makes a woman feel like she can expand instead of shrink, that she can be whole instead of an edited version of herself, the level of attraction that is created is unlike anything any other item on this list can create on its own. It is deep in a way that goes beyond physical desire. It is lasting in a way that goes beyond the early stages of pursuit. It is the kind of attraction that turns into genuine love, into unshakable loyalty, into devotion. Emotional safety is not weakness. It is not being a pushover. It is not agreeing with everything. It is having enough internal structure to create a space where another person can be real, and that is the greatest gift one human being can offer another. Now I want to hear from you. Out of all 11 things you heard today, which one hit you the hardest? Which one did you hear and think you had never stopped to think about it that way? Write it in the comments right now, because I read everything, I respond to everything, and that conversation is the reason this channel exists. If you want to keep understanding how the female mind really works, not the surface level stuff other channels feed you, but the real, deep psychology underneath it all, subscribe right now. Every single week there is new content that is going to make you see relationships in a completely different way. You made it to the end of this video because something here genuinely resonated with you. Do not ignore that. Share this video with that friend you know needs to hear this, because sometimes the right information at the right moment changes everything.